And yeah, that almost killed me. It doesn't mean malpractice occurred. One of the most critical skills you can cultivate if you want to be a more effective thinker is the ability to recognize cognitive bias and logical fallacy. And tangential to current events and discourse, I'm noticing a couple that I think we should talk about. In particular, outcome bias and hindsight bias. What are outcome and hindsight bias? Outcome bias is when we say that the outcome proves a decision was bad. And hindsight bias is interpreting past events through the lens of knowledge that the people at the time experiencing those events did not have. And we run into these in medicine a lot. It is very easy after something terrible has happened to a patient for us to look back and go, well, obviously those were not the correct decisions to be making. Look at how devastating the outcome was. The logical fallacy being because you know a bad thing happened, you think that you would not make the same decisions. The problem with that is it's largely untrue. For instance, let's say yesterday I had a headache. I call my doctor's office. They're like, nothing else is going on. Okay, just take an ibuprofen. Over-the-counter medicine. You've taken it before. I've taken it before. And if I'm 999,999 out of a million patients, I take the ibuprofen, my headache goes away, end of story. What if I'm 1 in a million? NSAIDs, medications like ibuprofen, are a known trigger for Stevens-Johnson syndrome. What's Stevens-Johnson syndrome? It's a rare medication reaction that essentially burns your skin off. People end up in the ICU or permanently disabled or die because of SJS. And it's easy to look at that and go, okay, your doctor told you to take a medication and that medication nearly killed you. That was a terrible decision on the doctor's part. Malpractice, you should sue. And yeah, that almost killed me. It doesn't mean malpractice occurred because you're passing that judgment based on information that was unknowable. It was not available to the clinicians making those decisions. The outcome does not prove their decision making was bad. That is lazy thinking. Because here's the thing, there is no such thing as a medical intervention that is free from risk. The best surgeon in the world who did every single thing right during your surgery could still kill you. Complications, even life-altering, devastating ones, are not always avoidable because there is inherent risk in what we do. And that sucks. That sucks for patients who have to deal with bad outcomes. That sucks for healthcare workers who were just trying to help people and ended up hurting someone. But we work in medicine, not magic. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't have a panacea. We can only make the best decisions with the information we have available to us at the time. And that doesn't sit right with a lot of people in such a hyper-litigious society like ours. If you're American, you grew up with drug commercials on TV where 45 seconds of it was explaining how you could grow a tail or your nipples could start bleeding if you start taking this medicine. But the fact that that risk exists does not follow that you never take medicine if you need it. We do our best, and while medicine is unbelievably advanced, there are still many unanswerable questions. And just because I read the textbook doesn't mean that your body did. You might say, but if I knew that risk, I would never take that medicine. I'm like, I don't know if that's true. I've got a cabinet full of ibuprofen. Does that mean NSAIDs are evil and should be taken off the market? No, it means I was unlucky. It kind of gets to, does informed consent actually exist? Because if I were to counsel you where you really truly understood every single risk associated with every medical intervention, it would take 17 hours to write a single prescription. God knows I wish we had that time because you deserve that knowledge when making decisions about your health. That's not the world we live in. It sucks, no doubt, but the logic doesn't hold.